Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, previously we had looked at Hollywood Hogan versus Roddy Piper at Halloween Havoc 97, and that match was kind of a stinker, but that's not the only time they faced off in WCW, and because it's the month of December, I decided I'd look at potentially a better match between the two. So I decided to look at their encounter at Starrcade 1996. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this may have been the first match between Piper and Hogan, because they had faced off a few times. But how did things go when they faced off at Starrcade 96? Let's find out. So, as always, I'm not a professional wrestling reviewer analyst, just a man who enjoys a good time. And I had an okay time, I guess, with this match. So without further ado, let's get right into it. If you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. Starting with what I liked. It was better than Halloween Havoc. I'll definitely give it that. Like, the thing is a couple things to bring up. For starters, this was Starrcade 96, of course. So we're very much still in kind of the infancy of the whole, and not just Hogan heel turn, but also the NWO as a faction, as an entity, and as a unit. It hadn't even been a year because Hogan had turned heel at Bash at the Beach earlier on that year, which I believe was around June or so. So Hogan's still kind of in that heel phase. Meanwhile, how Piper brought over her into the WCW, who in feuding with Hogan here, playing off their history and the battles they had against one another in the WWF. Of course, Hogan and Piper, very famous rivals. They even faced each other, I should say, kinda in a way at the first WrestleMania. It was, of course, the tag team, Hogan, Mr. T, and then Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. But nevertheless, so carrying that rivalry over from here. So I figured I'd bring those up. But also, the thing is, when it comes to the action stuff of this match, was the action good? Not really. Was it great? Definitely not. Was it better? Like I said, was it better than Halloween Havoc 97? Oh yeah, and we've said, we've explored before where less is more here on the channel, but I think this match above perhaps any other match I've described it in this match, I think is even more of a glaring example of that, because and this time around, not having the cage as a gimmick, I think, did help this match out a bit. The thing about cage matches is that, or like structure-based matches, is that you want a lot of excitement in there. Like, a lot of that excitement does come from the structure itself, and more specifically, like what they do into it. Like, it's kind of a tale of two halves, like the structure itself, and how it's utilized versus what they do within the structure. But when you take out one half of it, and you're left with the other half has to be strengthened. I don't know if that makes any sense, but also when the structure's in place, you definitely want to put that into place. So not having that here, I think, in a way, it did kind of help the match a little bit. There's a chance that what I just said probably made no sense at all. I'll try my best to prove my argument here. So, Piper and Hogan definitely going after each other. Not quite what you consider a technical masterpiece, but going after one another. Hogan trying to run away from Piper. Piper bringing him back in. And the crowd pretty excited for it. Pretty excited to finally see Hogan get some semblance of comeuppance. It's at least at some point against when it comes to battling Piper or them battling it out. You definitely get that fight feel here in this match. Say a bit more than the cage match. Like with the cage match, you want the brutality to be upped, and because Hogan and Piper couldn't really match that, at least within the match, then it got dragged down as a result. But without the cage, I think it worked a little bit better. I think that might be the argument I want to go with there. But nevertheless, has not quite as much. Still some walking around, of course, but otherwise, nice, a bit more action-packed, and it included Piper beating Hogan. But the other thing is, this match was not for the WCW World Championship. Yes, even though Hogan was WCW World Champion at this point in time, he did not put the belt on the line, and that wasn't the last time that they had done that, where Piper beat Hogan, but the belt actually wasn't on the line. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what they wound up doing, or at least how they wound up with the get out of jail free card when it came to Halloween Havoc 97. Now, granted, it does kind of make sense, and because they are building towards Hogan dropping the belt to Sting at Starrcade the next year, or so. We got a year to go before we can really, for the payoff, essentially. At least it was supposed to be the payoff, but not quite the case. Learn more about it in my review of their match at Starrcade 97, which, if you haven't already, go check out that review. But yeah, so you probably didn't want Hogan to drop the belt, but at the same time, you probably still wanted to give Piper a win. So I guess this was the best way they could go about it. But it is kind of weird in that regard that the belt wasn't on the line, especially on the biggest show of the year. Of course, Starrcade's pretty much like WCW's equivalent of WrestleMania. Not quite having the belt on the line, especially in the main event, was kind of weird. But in a way, they kind of get to have their cake and eat it too. In a way, so Hogan can still take the loss. He passes out while in the sleeper, so Piper gets the win, but doesn't quite get the championship. So I guess that's their failsafe. But nevertheless, yeah. So the action wasn't like I said, wasn't anything spectacular, but it's a lot better than the other match. And in terms of what I didn't like, probably the fact that it wasn't really a barn burner. Like definitely was more so meant to, get Piper over and get him the win over Hogan, and to really establish Piper in a way. But otherwise, nothing really spectacular or other than that. And then the whole belt situation, like I said, I get it. I get why they did it that way, but it is kind of weird. So yeah, not a bad match. A lot better than their cage match at Halloween Havoc 97. And do I recommend this match? Probably. Just if you're curious, as for this match, I know some people really like this match. Some people don't really like it as much. Me, I'm kind of in the middle. Like it's kind of been a means to an end, but nothing really past that. But at least gets the job done. I'll at least give it that. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you most so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the match and my review. Did you like to select the match? Did you like to select my review of the match? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.